broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Okay, I thought that was something we were doing.
Oh dear. Hello, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to an all-new Shadowhunters after show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. If you guys haven't done so already, please go on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, rate, review, subscribe. We love your YouTube comments and your tweets. They are so smart and honestly contribute greatly to this after show.
Yes, they do.
We're on the live chat again, so please keep it coming. I have this full, beautiful panel here with me today. Introduce yourselves. Let us know where we can find you on Twitter.
Hello, guys. My name is Dakota T. Jones. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
Hi, I'm Becca. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Becca B Talks TV.
What's up, y'all? My name is Erin Lane. You can find me on Twitter at LoveErinLane and on Instagram and Snapchat at Always Eat Your Cake.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at SamD43 on Twitter and Instagram and AfterBuzz TV everywhere. And don't forget to use the hashtag ABTV Shadowhunters.
Yes.
Today, we will be talking about Season 1, Episode 4, Raising Hell. We have some opinions about this show. Before we start, I'd like to apologize because we did tease we would have one, possibly two guests in this week.
Yeah.
And it's just us. But you want to know what? We're going to make it up to you.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time.
At the end of this episode, we will announce who our guests for next week will be. But we have another guest the following week, and the week after that, and the week after that.
The week after that.
So, and they are big people on the show. Get really excited.
So excited. I can't wait for you guys to hear who's coming on next, and it's going to be a really fun month.
It will.
Seriously, the whole month. Like, it's crazy.
So keep
Great month,
on
February.
watching.
Yes.
We all had some mixed emotions and feelings, I know, about this show. Dakota, why don't you start with telling us your overall thoughts about the episode?
All right. I love this series so much, but for this episode, it was my least favorite episode. I felt like it was a little slow, and some of the things just didn't make sense to me, like pertaining to the placement of certain lines. And I know that they were just incorporating some of the, the lines from the book, and they want to keep that in there, but sometimes they just didn't fit for me. Like, for instance, when Magnus was telling, like, they're like, oh my gosh, is he okay? And he's like, I don't know, does he usually lay there on the ground? Like, it just seems cheesy and, like, just non-sympathetic to me, and I don't know. I just felt like this whole episode was just a little off for me, but there were some great moments in it, and I still absolutely love this series. What about you, Becca?
See, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought last week's episode was my favorite so far.
Yeah.
But this week's was my second favorite. I thought Harry, who plays Magnus, was fantastic in this episode.
I feel you too. In my opinion, I'm actually in your camp here as far as this is my least favorite episode so far. However, I think that Magnus Bane can do no wrong. I loved that line. It was one of the lines that in the books made me literally LOL. Like, I was in my car by myself laughing like a crazy person. I think it's hysterical. I love his dry, witty delivery. So for me, he was fabulous. Loved him. But yeah, this episode to me, I felt like they were building and building and building this last episode, and then this one just kind of
plateaued a little
yeah,
bit.
just stayed the same a little bit.
I'm on the same page as Becca. I think it's my second favorite. I thought it was exciting. The memory demon did not disappoint.
Okay, that part was really cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hated the memory demon.
Really? I thought it was really cool.
I was saying it reminded me of Twitches on Disney Channel.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't find it scary. Did you guys find it scary?
Yeah.
What?
Well, we'll get into the memory demon later.
We don't want to
have
give
a
too much
lot
away.
to say. Let's start with the beginning of the episode. Clary wakes up from this dream. But is it a dream? It's memory fragments, but also, you're not sure. She's basically hearing her mom, Jocelyn, tell Magnus to take away her memories, all this stuff. but it's in bits and fragments and pieces. My question for you guys is, are these dreams, are these memory fragments, or are they a combination of both? Same to you viewers. Please let us know in the chat what you think.
Yeah. Well, first of all, my favorite thing about this panel is the way that you say Magnus, and I'm going to start saying it that way.
I'm so sorry.
No, I
Wait.
love it. I think it's amazing.
Do you say Magnus?
Magnus?
Magnus.
It makes him sound so much more mysterious.
You know, I knew a guy who was
sound
very
British.
foreign named in college named Magnus, and so
I really
okay.
like
That's
it. No, it's
interesting.
better. I think I really enjoy it. It makes me smile every time I hear it.
Yeah.
No, I do like it.
I think that as far as the memories go, I do think that they're memory fragments coming back to her. I think that they're
yeah.
doing a lot of foreshadowing through that.
Yeah.
I thought the beginning of the episode like kind of showed that she was like starting to regain.
okay, yeah.
Wasn't this
memory.
also like right after that she wakes up and she thinks it's Jace?
Yes.
Is that still a part of the
broke my
dream?
heart.
Is that
See-
still a part of the dream? Because for me, I was confused. I was like, oh wow, Jace woke her up, and then all of a sudden it was Simon. I'm like, whoa, was this was this another part of the dream? What is this?
a very small part of the episode, but like you guys know, I watched these 3 to 4 times.
Right.
And we go in depth.
Yeah, and so this beginning part had a lot packed in and was really important. I think that she's having nightmares combined with these flashbacks, and her dreams maybe are not, you can't take them at face value. But she also woke up and somebody was there waking her up. It's not that she imagined it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was Jace she saw instead of Simon, which I think is her heart telling
Yeah.
her who she really wants to
Definitely.
To be
be
waking
there.
her
Definitely her
up.
heart,
Right.
which made me really sad.
And I think that there's a lot of symbolism. It is a small piece, but it is really important in the books. I got in trouble last week because I get too enthusiastic with the books, so I'm just
Yes.
going to keep it to things that are relevant specifically to what's happening right now. But these visions that she has in the books are kind of symbolic. They're not so much real as they are symbolism. So, she might see Jace or think about Jace in different roles, but it's not necessarily something that happened or will happen. It's more of like this, symbolic vision of meaning for something else, for some other situation.
Yeah. In a way, Clary is a Shadowhunter baby.
Yeah.
Yes, she
and
is.
Jace is like taking care of her and nurturing her and helping her gain confidence
Yeah.
in herself.
Little Mother Goose. Kind
Yeah.
of like a really aggressive Mother Goose. But
Well,
Seriously.
a really hot
of.
Mother Goose.
Very, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking,
sexualizing everything on this
I
panel. We're
know,
like,
you guys
yeah,
are
Goose.
like, yeah,
you
that's
guys,
a sexy goose.
we are just picking up what I swear, the show is dropping sexual hints
Oh
everywhere.
my God.
Everywhere.
It is not just us. Let us know what you guys think, because I don't think that we're just creating these sexual
No,
hints. It's
and-
No,
everywhere.
I think that that's part of Freeform's kind of elevating it to more of adult content,
Sexually charged,
but without being overtly inappropriate. I like it because it's like if you don't understand what it means, it's not
You
going
let
to
it go.
offend you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you're like us, where we are picking up all of what they're putting down, then you're gonna like it.
I do have one line that I'd like to mention. Do you remember? Okay, so in
it a
this
sexy
episode,
line?
I think I know
It
what you're gonna
is.
say.
Okay, we were watching it again beforehand, and I had mentioned it to her. Whenever Izzy's talking to Alec, and she's like, "You can't keep bottling everything up; you're gonna explode," and not the fun kind of explode.
Oh, Izzy had a bunch of amazing
Boom.
sexual one-liners
She
this
is
episode.
too.
I feel like she just creates all the like sexual one.
I know, she does. She is just a very sexual being.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Clary wakes up and she talks to Simon, and Simon is actually helpful because she mentions Magnus.
I like it.
Magnus.
Can you please?
Magnus.
No, I
I'll
like
keep saying
Magnus.
it.
I think it's
Okay,
amazing.
Magnus. Okay, she mentions Magnus, and then automatically Simon knows the name because he remembers it from when he was with the vampires
Right.
with Camille.
Who he thinks is really hot.
Yes, and they kind of piece it together, and instead of celebrating and be like, yay, let's escape together, Clary goes, I need to go tell Jace. And
Yeah.
Simon is like, he
little
has had it.
friend-zoned.
He is, we'll get into Simon, what's going on with him, but we are really not quite sure. But let's just say he is going through some kind of transition of sorts.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And they're just dropping these little hints here and there. I like that they're not coming out with it outright.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
most of us have an idea of where we think that's going.
Right.
Yeah, but it like we see Simon and he doesn't know what's happening.
Right.
He just wants to get away from the shadow world as fast as possible.
He thinks what's wrong with him is that he's just in this place with all these people. He feels like if he leaves, all that's going to go behind.
Right.
But it's unrealistic. It's like, I know he's not in his right mind, but it's like you can't just run away from your problems like that. I mean, with all that's going on right now.
I think he does, though, have an inkling in the back of his head somewhere that there maybe is a bit of a change going on within him, because you see him stop at moments and think about the thoughts going through his head and question them.
Right.
Yeah, and he leaves and tries to get Claire to go with him, and she doesn't, and he's pissed, and he brings up this thing with Jace. They start fighting and starts referencing high school, and I'm like, okay, what is this, your diary? Like, what are you really talking about here? And, you know, when he leaves, Clary basically says the same thing, that you're putting other people's lives in risk. You can't just leave. If you go home, you're going to put Maureen's life in risk, your mom's life in risk. So we're going to get into that in a little bit, because he, in fact, does go home and all that happens.
I just feel bad for Claire, because she has a really hard decision to make at all times, whether she should choose Simon or
well, and she's really stuck between a rock and a hard place, although I do feel for Simon as well, because he really didn't ask to be part of this. Although neither did Clary, but for her, it's in her blood. There's really no getting away from it. Yeah. And poor Simon has just kind of been dragged into this, and there's no turning back.
He's losing a friend now.
Well, he's losing his own life, too. I mean, no matter what.
His humanity.
He's maybe literally, maybe figuratively.
There's a ton of people right now who's saying that he's going through vampire puberty.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, some strange kind of puberty.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's what he keeps, that's why he keeps stopping and thinking, and he'll notice, blood, why am I attracted to this? And
he sees Camille behind him in the mirror.
Yes. And I don't think he's totally all in as far as thinking that's happening, because that's not a logical possibility in real life. So this all still is very new to him. But I do like that they're dragging this out in kind of a subtle way.
Yeah.
In the books, it's much less subtle.
And he does not turn into a vampire in the books, right? Or he does. I thought he turned
into a rat. Am I allowed to say this? I don't know. Will you ask them if I'm allowed to talk about this?
No.
Seriously.
Okay. Possible spoiler alert. I'm not really sure if this is or is not. I don't think it is. But yeah, in the books he does.
A vampire.
Yes.
I thought he turned into a rat.
Oh, that's for like literally for 24 hours he's a rat because he takes a potion.
Okay.
No, he becomes a vampire through the rat excursion, but they're going a different route here that's much
I just want
to see him becoming a vampire.
Well, I think that's what's happening.
I think that's what's happening.
And I just like to give a PSA to all of our viewers and watchers. I'm still reading the books, Erin has read most of them. Like, we are trying to get on your page, but I feel like a good amount of you guys have not read the books.
Yeah.
And that's what
and as a viewer for this show, I just feel as though books or shows on ABC Family, the new Freeform that have been based off of books, tend to not exactly follow them that much. So I think we'll try to give you as little spoilers as possible, but at the same time, if something seems relevant or we see a difference, let's bring it up, because I don't know what, there's a good chance that it won't happen, and it's just fun to talk about the differences.
I think people are worried a little bit about if they want to go read the books later, which I totally understand. The books are not very subtle, so they're throwing a lot of information at us in the show that took me 3 books to get to. So it's they're definitely taking a different road with this, but I really like it. I think they're keeping major plot points, but the way that they're getting to those plot points is very different, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great new squad storyline after this. Hodges and Clary and Alec and Jace and Isabelle all get together to talk about this Magnus.
You can say Magnus. I like it.
Magnus character, and to see who he is. I thought that kind of everyone is in the Shadow World well aware of who Magnus is, but they don't know him personally.
He's pretty mysterious. He's the High Warlock of Brooklyn, so he's the guy as far as Brooklyn goes. But he's pretty mysterious.
They don't seem to trust him at all.
Would you trust him?
Magnus,
No, he's
never.
Not.
But I think he's very, very interesting.
Well, I think that he is an amazing character, because if anybody, I actually would trust him. I don't feel distrust to him. I really don't. If I were Clary, I would be like, okay, wait, my mom trusted you, and my mom doesn't know any of these guys, so like
That's true.
I'm gonna trust who my mom trusted. And so Hodge is all of them get together. We see them talking about who Magnus is, and I wish we could have gotten like a real view of his like back in the days.
Yes.
Oh,
Speaking
where he
of
was in the old times. Oh my gosh, that was
speaking
the
of not characters who can be trusted, someone said that Hodge cannot be trusted, but right now I'm trusting Hodge more.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm with them. Who said that? Can you find it on there? Because
It was
Rebecca Wellberg.
No, Detroit Spartan 1.
Detroit Spartan 1 and I are on the same page with that.
I can see how, like,
It's
you
a
wouldn't be able to trust him, but at this point,
yes,
in
and
the show,
you should trust
I'm
him
trusting
now.
him.
And the thing that's interesting with Hodge is he is a very complicated character. It's
Yeah.
not black and white at all with him. So even though, you know, it's like I was talking to somebody, I think, on Twitter or YouTube comments about how in Harry Potter, my favorite character is Snape. I love him. I have like this deep-seated love for Snape. And it's
Rest
similar
in
to the
peace.
way that I feel. I know.
So sad.
It was very sad. But it's similar to the way I feel about the character of Hodge, is the way that I felt about the character of Snape.
I agree.
It's not black and white. It's
completely
very
agree with
complicated,
that.
and you see reasonings for his actions, but I think that's going to come out later.
Which makes a really fun character to watch. So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
very much looking forward to where that goes.
I like.
So there's the necklace that Hodge decides to give Izzy, which is something that Magnus and Camille, they had a thing a
Right.
really long time ago.
Interesting.
And it was a necklace that he had given her, and it could it like kind of went off when there was demons around, right? And there's a demon rave going on, which, I mean, I'm not a big fan of raves, but like
It looks really fun.
I would go.
It's called Hardtail, which I was like, what?
Is it really?
That's
Yeah,
the name of the place.
I'm not a fan of those either, but
Okay,
that looks like a fun party.
I have a question about the necklace. Maybe you guys can like help clue me in on this. Okay, how did they get that in their possession? Because like they found it and they put it in this tile in the floor in the institute. Like, how did they get this necklace
From
and,
Camille and Magnus? I have
yeah, like how
idea.
did they end up getting it?
Well, from what I know, from reading, part of the books,
Yeah.
and what everyone has said is that they have things, weapons and other things hidden, kind of like everywhere to use at their disposal to fight and to kind of have
Right.
just in case.
So they
But
just
how
kinda
did they
store
get?
them away and
How
hide
did they
them?
get that in the first place?
I know, that's
'Cause
what I really want to know.
If it said Magnus gave it to Camille when they were
Interesting
together,
question.
why would she give it up? Wouldn't she keep it? I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
Does
mean,
anybody on the
Someone
chat know?
says, let me see, what did they say? They just said, someone is saying about how Camille basically never loved Magnus, and I'm thinking that is probably, that's something that is confusing to me because like, from what we know, he's into guys.
Magnus
I
gave
think
it to
Magnus is
Lightwood
into
years
people
ago.
in general.
Yes.
I don't think he's one way or the other.
I mean, listen.
He's an old soul.
He is a
People are saying
warlock.
Lightwoods.
Yeah,
yeah.
Magnus did keep on mentioning Lightwood, and that he has a connection with them, even though Izzy and Alec don't really know him.
Yeah.
But they have parents, and their parents.
They know.
We haven't met their parents in the show yet, have we?
No.
No.
I'm
No.
curious if they're going to come in as part of the show.
Yes, people are saying that the necklace is in the family.
Okay, because
Because the Lightwood parents are very important in the books. I hope that they bring them into the show. They're kind of a pivotal part.
Okay, so next I want to talk about a scene that was really confusing to me. I hope that you guys can give me some, clarity. Valentine, we go to Chernobyl, and Valentine is with Circle members, and then there's a poison situation going on out of one of their mouths. He kills them. I'm not sure. I guess it is important, but in this episode, the scheme of things, do you have any insight, Erin?
Can someone remind, oh sorry.
No, yeah,
Can
go.
someone remind me how this one guy got poisoned? Because I forget, because I remember that someone, he got poisoned, but I don't remember how it happened, and so they're walking, and then he's like, okay, breathe on them. I don't remember why he got poisoned or how it happened. Was
I
it,
actually don't know either. This isn't a book insight thing either. I think this is something
was
I
it
just
when
don't
Dot
understand.
stabbed that one guy in the neck?
Oh,
Was that him?
But no, was it?
Because you saw his skin got all gross and stuff. I just want to know how that happened, and maybe someone in the chat can mention it, but I don't remember exactly what happened at that point.
Okay, well, we have a lot more to talk about, and I don't understand that, so let's we'll go back to Valentine in a little bit. But
oh, wait. Okay. And that's... So I think that this is what's going on. People in the chat helping us out. This is kind of a book thing, is that someone's saying the Forsaken are being created, which I'm not totally sure how the poison factors into that, but I do know that that's, I think, part of why. Remember when Valentine had people in cages? Or in cells? Yeah. I think that's what's going on. He's creating an army of Forsaken, which they haven't totally described yet, but they will later.
Okay. So maybe it's just a foreshadow.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think, maybe we're not meant to understand it.
Okay.
Well, good. I'm glad we're on this.
I think it was just kind of thrown in.
Better.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't seem to fit with the episode.
Yeah, it felt as though it needed to be. It's like we needed to bring that in, but we don't really.
But we don't know what's going on.
Didn't find an appropriate time. Then we have a small scene after that with Luke and Alaric, and Alaric and I are BFF now in real life. We've been chatting. He wants to kind of give some insight onto the show. He's based in Toronto.
Really?
Yeah. But probably in sometime in March we'll have a phone convo with him, which is going to be really fun.
Yes.
He's Joel. He's awesome. His character is just like interesting to me because he only has a few lines here and there, but he seems important because he knows everything.
Yeah.
And so he basically tells Luke that everyone's becoming suspicious of him and he needs to kind of get it together and to find Clary, get the cup, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he just like strolls in and like with his beef jerky, like no big deal. I don't understand, like, you know, he's being watched and scrutinized so much right now. Like, he's the guy in charge. You need to have it together, and he's just sitting back eating his beef jerky.
I love that you're bringing in the beef jerky. I know this is ridiculous. I think the beef jerky is like foreshadowing.
Really? Wait, do you think that he like his victims, he like makes them into beef jerky? Is that what you're...
No, but that's an amazing plot
I think he just wants to go like act normal.
Well, okay, this is, and I'm not supposed to have the chat up, and I don't, but I just like to save it for later. But I just saw something pop up which made me remember Luke does have the cup.
Yeah, but he acts like he doesn't. Because I thought he had it too, because of that one scene in one of the episodes that we recently watched. And then he's saying something like, well, to get the cup, I just want to have a conversation with Clary. And I'm like, wait, didn't you have the cup?
Well, okay, this is the whole shebang, is that if they're following the book and the movie plotline, what's been done before, he sort of has the cup, but not...
But he needs her to unlock
exactly.
it?
He doesn't have it. He has it kind of sort of in one form, but not the form that can actually do anything.
Okay.
Interesting.
Very interesting. We next get another fun Izzy Clary scene. So cute.
All the Izzy Clary scenes are fun.
I do,
She's
and
like her sister.
Now that I'm reading the books, like, they aren't nice to each other, and this is an amazing change that Freeform decided to make. I really like it.
It was a really good choice, I think, and because I'm fairly far. I'm towards the middle of book 4, and I kept waiting for them to kind of develop a relationship like they have in the show, and they don't. They're at each other's throats all the time, and not for lack of reason. It's not that enjoyable to be a part of. I really like seeing them band together like this.
Girl power.
Girl power.
Girl power. So she dresses Izzy to go to the rave, whatever, and there's a Jason Clary scene, lots of sexual tension, blah, blah, blah.
My favorite part, this is ridiculous, but my favorite part in it, I have no idea why, is she puts the dress on and they try to do the line from the book of like, oh, you're so lucky, you're flat-chested, it looks like you're her. Yeah, her thingy, her knockers are gigantic.
Yeah,
in
that's
that.
what Al FE96 was saying. The flat chest moment was hilarious. I didn't get it either.
I was looking at her and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I don't get it. Yeah. But I liked it. I thought it was funny.
And speaking of good bodies, just need to do a quick throwback to Jace being shirtless. We did not cover it. So
why would we not cover that?
Fantastic.
Not a lot was said, but he just was shirtless, and so I know people wanted us to talk about it.
It was worth pointing out.
And that's the thing about this show too, is a lot of the times the writing does get really smart. We actually address some social issues and some really interesting things like, you know, prejudice and racism and everything. But it's also a fun show, and it's meant to be fun. And so I love talking about shirtless Jace and Clary's boobies, and I think it's great. I think
just
boobies.
All the characters on the show are ridiculously attractive. Yeah.
Well, they're part angel. There's, think about
That's true.
Deal.
Okay, well, speaking of demons, angels, whatever, we have Magnus. Am I doing it right again? Magnus?
Magnus,
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Magnus and Elias. Elias is one of his demons, right? He has horns, so that means he's a demon.
The one
And-
with crow's feet.
Yes, and basically Elias is saying, you know, it's not safe to meet these shadow hunters for this necklace because Magnus is in hiding, and he says he wants to. He's a hedonist, as they described him before, which I love that word. I don't know why. I learned it in college in psychology class, and I was like, oh shoot.
Well, it makes
Favorite word.
well, and it absolutely makes sense in this context. It's, you know, primal desires, and, you know, your just base human desires.
Yeah, and
Good drinks, good people.
he wants to go to this rave and he wants to get the necklace, and I do think that he that's why I like his character, because he's good. I think he wants to see Clary, even though when they first meet they're a little bit like, ooh, toughy but they toughy, but really, like, he knows her mother very well, and they're, in a way, I feel like they're family. Then we have an Alec and Isabelle moment, which is one of those sexual innuendos we were talking about. And Alec is just pissed all the time. He is so stunning. He is gorgeous.
He is. To me, he's the most good-looking person on the show.
I agree.
Although, I mean, I love me some Old Spice guy, but
He's just so tense all the time, and it's like, dude, chill
he's very
out.
repressed, I
No,
think.
but
Yeah.
I love the way he plays his character.
I think he's one of the best actors on the show.
I do too. I
he's
have moments
fantastic.
with some of the acting sometimes, and it might be a combination of writing and acting and just kind of working the kinks out. But I don't really have that with him at all. He plays that repressed, brooding.
Very great.
You can tell that he's in pain on the inside in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he is, and we
he's
see
confused.
that a little bit later. Yeah, I mean, he's confused and he's not comfortable with his emotions. But he is putting, you know, how sometimes when you're going through something and you just find a scapegoat,
Yes.
and Clary is his scapegoat.
And this is, I think, one of those moments where the show does have some really smart writing as far as social issues goes, because this big thing that he's warring with is his sexuality and not feeling comfortable even with his friends and family. So I like that we go from fun and sexy and campy at times to having some actual commentary.
Yes. I wanted to ask, do you know who Tessa is?
No.
Because people were wondering.
There's a ton of people saying Tessa, like 7 comments now. I don't know who that is, but maybe hopefully
More than
we'll know
7 comments.
soon. Yeah, hopefully we'll know soon.
Huh.
They want Jason Tessa to meet.
Okay.
Is this a book thing that comes later in the books?
Because Erin is 6. No, 5. You're 5.
Okay,
4
someone is
Someone
saying,
said book 4 or 5.
someone's saying she doesn't
book
pop
6.
up until book 6.
Oh, okay. There's 6. Oh, wow. I have more to go. I'm midway of book 4 and I haven't met Tessa yet. I wonder, but we're introducing people a lot faster in the show.
I'm curious to meet Tessa,
Yeah, okay. Good. Thanks for bringing that up, guys.
I'm curious, though. Does Tessa come in the way between Clary and Jace?
Oh.
That's what it
Or-
sounds
Maybe.
like.
In the prequel.
Oh, in the, what is that? There's a whole nother series.
she's
that's
in the
called,
prequel.
What is it called? I forget. I see people talk about it on the chat all the time. It'll be next on my reading list.
Please keep us informed about this Tessa character. I mean, I don't really care about the spoilers because I don't think they're spoilers. I think it's insight into where the show is going. Be careful with what you say, but we will try to, people that didn't want us to give you spoilers. But let's still talk about the books.
Infernal Devices.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, next we get to see Simon's life, and he goes home. His mom, coolest mom ever.
She's so cute.
Yeah, was just slightly worried that he was gone all night. I mean, even when I was 18 and I still lived at home, I had a curfew.
I like that her one
mine
comment
was
was someone's got to have a phone. Not like, are you okay?
And
But-
poor Simon can't use the excuse, I was kidnapped by vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, Maureen's there waiting for him. She confesses. She wants to date him. And
Awkward moment.
yeah, so we even though she only is credited for 2 episodes on IMDb, she's on the octagon. We're gonna put her back on.
Yeah, someone was
also-
really, really concerned with us putting her back on, so we will.
Yeah, we're gonna put her back on because Simon didn't seem opposed.
I also thought it was really funny when Simon entered his room and closed the blinds.
Oh yeah, that was another little
hilarious.
foreshadow.
They're dropping little
was like,
hints
"Oh,"
everywhere.
Did you catch that?
You know what? I didn't, and I watched the episode 3 or 4 times. But
Yeah,
no.
it was too bright for him, so he turned it down and made sure his room was really, really dark.
Which is interesting because you would think that he would go full-fledged one or another, but right now he's just kind of getting these little nuggets of vampirism.
And then Maureen cuts herself on
Yes.
the picture frame. And
People cut themselves a lot in the show.
I know.
There happens to be a lot of like random finger cutting and blood.
there's a
around.
lot of sharp objects on this show.
It really made me sad for that moment
Watch out.
because she had been waiting so long to tell him that she loved him or wanted to be with him, and it just totally ruined the moment for her. And I just feel awful because if that is the last episode we'll see her in this season, it like leaves it like this dead end. And I guess that's how it needs to be, but I just felt bad for her.
I felt bad for her too because Simon's mom even came in and obviously isn't thinking that this is anything that would hurt anyone, but she immediately goes into, I don't know what you and Clary were doing all night.
Yes.
And you can tell that there's some sort of tension in the air with Maureen.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting because Clary has friend zoned Simon, and now Simon has friend zoned Maureen.
But did he, because he wanted to make it clear, well, like, no, me and Clary are not happening.
That's true.
So
That's
I don't
true.
know. But Maureen leaves embarrassed. There's blood on this picture frame that Maureen had dropped, and Simon licks it.
Ugh, the way he does that.
Yeah, it's,
That was very
he is turning into a vampire. I think it's
Definitely.
It's pretty
Yeah.
clear at this
Pretty
point.
clear.
These are not subtle hints at
And
all.
No.
every
He doesn't
show, every book has a different way of explaining. I'm a big vampire fan. I am a host on the Vampire Diaries, guys, so catch that. But every one has a different way of turning into a vampire.
Yes.
So I don't know what this way is, but I do know that he is definitely in transition.
This is different than it happened in the books. It's much more quiet and calm. In the books, it's pretty hectic. So I like this way because the way that they're doing it, dropping all these little hints here and there, is definitely building more suspense than just getting it all done with.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think they add like music in a way that's really good.
Yeah, the music on the
During
show
no
is
transition.
great.
Yeah.
No, the music in the show, I'm obsessed with the music.
That
So
makes a
whoever picks
huge
the music,
difference.
Love it.
It is great music, great everything. I mean, we're big fans of the show, guys. So next,
If you couldn't tell.
If you couldn't tell, obviously. We have
kind
the Shadow Squad going to the rave to find Magnus. Yep.
Hashtag Shadow Squad.
Hashtag Shadow Squad. They're
Yes.
all going in their finest. And they meet him, and Alec kind of, before he even meets Magnus, like saves Magnus's life.
Yeah.
It seems, because they're chatting, him and Clary are chatting, and then Alec just throws a bow and arrow, and next thing we know, they're circle members, and they've been
Compromised,
They've been
yes.
compromised. But like I said earlier, the conversation between Magnus and Clary, I thought very fascinating. Clary's trying to be a hard ass.
Yeah.
And she really should be trusting this guy, and Magnus even offers, come with me. Like, your mom, he basically says, your mom would want you to come with me. And
Jace is like, no.
But I feel like I don't like that Magnus seems to like always run away from problems.
He's always going. He's like as soon
He's
as
like,
he opens
I
the
like it,
portal,
but
he's
there's
gone.
problems.
See, I like it. Because I think that he just puts it, he is who he is. He puts it all on the table. He's not trying to be the hero. He's just going to do what he's got to do.
So stay safe.
it's worked for him so far. He's been around a really long time.
Which is part of why I
Seriously.
agree with you that I think he is really trustworthy, because he doesn't seem to, cover anything up at all. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He just says it like it is and does what he needs to do.
Yeah, he's like,
That's
I'm
very
peacing.
true. But I want him to like be more on the side where he starts like fighting with everyone.
I think we'll get there for sure, because we start to see a lot of relationships develop. We see this very small moment of attraction between Alec and him.
That's so funny.
Also,
Malik.
Also, a sad part was when Magnus and Clary were talking, and Clary finds out about Dot.
that Dot is dead.
Yeah. So
I definitely cried the first time I watched.
I think it's official that Dot is not coming back this
Nope.
time. I think she's
Dot
Denzo.
is dead.
IMDb was right. 2 episodes.
Ding dong, the Dot is dead.
And you want to know why I liked
Sorry.
this version of Dot way better than I did in the books?
Yes,
No, I
I'm
like
so glad
Dot.
that you've met Madame Dorothea now. She was not my favorite character.
Yeah,
I like,
especially the way they have her voice on the audiobook.
yeah, it's pretty grating.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
And I liked the actress who played her.
Yeah, I did too. She
Yeah,
was.
I know. I really could have had her stick around. She was awesome.
Me too. I really, really liked her. But unfortunately, it's not an official, and we know with TV shows,
anything can happen.
So, hey, if people really like that actress and that character that they've created, then
they could bring her back.
Maybe
that happens all the time on shows. There's people that are just supposed to be a one-time day player, and they're so popular that they come back by fan demand.
Yeah.
Well, and we didn't see her stop breathing. We saw her get hit over the head, and we already saw her fall out a window, and she was still alive.
And then Valentine stuck her in the neck with that poison, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What if, okay, you know how that one guy got stuck in the neck and he breathed the poison? I wonder if he just transformed her into one of his science projects. I wonder if she will be back.
Ooh.
I didn't think of that because he stuck her in the neck with a needle. If he wanted to kill her, he could have easily just cut off her head or something.
I'm super curious about all of this. I feel like none of us have any idea what's going on with this whole poison.
No, but I like that.
Maybe transforming people to make an army.
Yes.
Maybe Dot will come back. Maybe she'll be back in season 2.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Next, Magnus goes and does his hand thing with the purple.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really like.
I do too.
And takes them to another loft because it's been compromised.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Before we get there, they track Magnus.
Oh, the Parabatai moment.
The Parabatai moment, which is a great Alec and Jace insight and
especially Alec insight.
Yes. So a Parabatai, basically you have to combine your powers to track someone, or your powers are amplified, right?
It's basically, so Parabatai essentially just means that they're basically like blood brothers, pretty much. They grew up together and trained together. They didn't really discuss this amplification of power in the book, so I like that they added this in here because it gives more meaning and gravity to their Parabatai relationship.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I like it.
The Izzy moment, whenever Clary was like, "This just seems so intimate," and Izzy's like, "You have no idea. You don't even know the half of it."
But is she Parabatai with anyone? Izzy?
No.
I think she's just saying you don't know the half of it because she was saying it was so intimate. I think that's saying Alec likes Jace.
But why is it just Alec and Jace that have Parabatai? Who else has that?
Because she didn't grow. I think it's situational. If you grow up and train with someone your whole life,
didn't she grow up and train with Alec? And
she's
Jace?
Younger.
Oh, okay.
By a couple years, yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you think.
Yeah,
maybe
seriously,
Clary and Izzy. That could
maybe
be cool.
they could
I would love that as an addition.
Yeah,
actually.
I like that. I really like their relationship.
I do too. Okay, so then let's wrap this up. We go find Magnus, and it has been. I'm sorry, you guys. Really bear with me.
No, I love it.
I like it.
So we find him, and he is in a new loft, which has already been compromised again. Basically, Clary kind of saves the day-ish. They all save the day together. And now Magnus is more open to them, and he sees that Clary is like her mother, and he already invited her to stay with him. He trusts her.
Yeah.
And Alec and Magnus's relationship seems to grow, and he tells them that he told them this earlier, he does not have Clary's memories. The memory demon has them, and you need to summon him. Which they do.
Memory demon.
Yes.
This was a new twist for me because that does not happen at all anywhere in print, and I like it as an idea a lot. I wanted to be terrified. I wanted it to scare the pants off me, and it kind of just made me giggle a little bit. Did you guys find it scary?
I actually liked that part.
Okay.
I thought it was. I love the part where they grabbed hands and boom, boom. That was very cool.
I liked that part, yeah.
And then when the demon came, I thought it was very
nice.
neat. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think it wasn't cheesy as much as some of the other parts we've seen have been. I liked it.
And as I said, it reminded me of Twitches, and that movie terrified me. So
it was cool.
I like
I'm
it.
the Lone Ranger here. What did you guys think about the way that it ended up being defeated, though? Because I think that's what really killed it for me. It was so easy.
Well, it wasn't defeated. Let's get into that. So they have the pentagon that they have to create. And
gosh darn it, Alec.
In order to get the memories that Clary has lost, each of them must give up a memory of someone that they love the most. And you can see each person of whose memory it's about. And when Alex comes up and his is with Jace, he freaks out, and it's like him himself.
Poor guy.
He didn't even really know, maybe, or has been trying to suppress and tell himself that he isn't in love with Jace, and then it pops up as his most important person.
He's in denial.
Which I think if he would have played it cool, it would have been totally fine, because they're
Right, they're
Parabatai.
Parabatai,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, so it'd be like, yeah, he's the most important person to me. Like, he could have totally played it off, but no, he's like, no, this can't be. And he like,
also-
let's go, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows how to play it cool.
Well, he lets all of those feelings and that struggle get in the way of everything.
And
for
maybe
him.
this
And
was
no
just
one
his
else
boiling
cares.
point. This was his boiling point, because we've seen him, like, suppress everything,
Oh, yeah.
everything, and
He
then
tries.
now, boom, like, this is it.
So he flies out and things get a little crazy.
flies out.
And goes crazy.
He lets it go, and we didn't get to see Jace's person, did we?
No.
No, we didn't. I was wondering who
Who
that would be. I
is
think it would
Jace's
be
person?
Clary.
It would have been Clary, and it would have been like, oh crap.
He doesn't have
this
a
is
whole lot of
embarrassing.
memories of her to
I
let go
just
of.
would have been
met you.
interesting.
Yeah.
It really would have, but maybe we'll see that later on. Circle gets broken, the memory demon almost takes Jace away, and Clary kills it, but before she does so, Magnus tells her that if you kill the memory demon,
You're
you will
sacrificing
officially never get your memories back.
I don't know. I feel like she made it was the only choice, really, but
Yeah.
all in all,
Good choice.
I think moving forward for her is going to be much more important than having those memories back.
I'm glad
I
that
agree.
it happened like that, because, the past 3 or 4 episodes, we've been like, okay, well, we have to get these memories back. We have to
Yeah.
get these memories back. So I'm like, okay, now we know you can't get your memories back from that way, so we can move on to, like, a separate storyline.
Yes.
Like, we can move on with the story, rather than, like, having to, oh my gosh, these memories, kinda
I'm
puts
glad
an
we
end to
wrapped that
We
storyline
wrapped it
up.
up. Yeah.
I agree. And
Yes.
I think it's cute as the, like, love story between Clay and Jace.
Yeah.
kind of
I mean,
develops
also, it would have been kind of like not the best move for her to be like, nah, screw that guy.
Who needs Jace?
Yeah, she needs to keep her circles tight and keep what she knows and who she knows-ish close to her. Which is, though, I don't think her memories are all lost, because on a final point, I'm going to say, talk about the necklace with Clary at the end. Valentine is literally giving her a message through her necklace, saying that, and I don't think this part is a dream.
No.
This is 100% reality.
Yeah.
I think so too.
It's like direct.
Oh, no, I
it's
don't
like
think it's a dream.
FaceTime for Shadowhunters. Like,
It is.
Like,
I
she holds
like
onto it, and
that.
he literally looks into this camera and is like, look, this is what's happening. Yeah,
Like
I
the
thought
way
it
you
was
said
very
that.
cool. I mean, it just shows that the necklace is not just going to be like, this is something my mother
Right.
gave me. It's like direct communication to the other side.
And we were curious in the first episode where this necklace storyline was going to go, because this is a new thing in the show. It's not in the book. It's kind of a new mechanism.
Yeah.
So I still don't totally understand it, but we do know that Valentine is FaceTiming Clary via
Just
necklace.
FaceTiming Clary.
Via necklace.
So that happened.
Yeah,
Hashtag necklace FaceTime.
Can we get that trending?
Yeah.
And that is a very cool kind of ending to the episode, because she throws it off and she realizes that, maybe there is a way to find her mother, but she's terrified of it.
Yeah.
And she's terrified of her father.
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
essentially
I keep forgetting that we know
yeah.
I
already.
keep forgetting that.
Because you don't know in the books for a while, and then there's still a lot of weird stuff around it that you can't totally figure out. But I totally forget every time that we know for sure that's
Yeah, and
that's
that little
Daddy.
the little FaceTime message was not very like, "Hey daughter," like it was very scary. Like it just shows that he probably doesn't really want
Yeah.
a father-daughter relationship with Clary.
He does not seem very paternal in
No.
his way of reaching out to her.
You guys, I'm such a sucker. Like, at the beginning, I thought, like, oh, she'll soften him.
That's what I thought as well.
I don't think so.
Which happens a lot. I mean, they do that in a lot of shows and a lot of movies, but I love a good hard villain. Like,
Yeah.
that's villainous through and through, and I think that we're going to get that from Valentine. I don't see him softening.
No.
I do know, in the books, there's some moments where you think, oh, he's gonna, and, I don't know how that's
Yeah.
gonna play out in the show, but I like him good and evil.
But you also mentioned that she's terrified, but I also think at the same time she is terrified. I would be terrified, more than terrified. But she's
Right.
getting more brave.
She is.
pissed.
Yeah.
And
She's like my mom.
She's
Yeah.
really pissed, and that's what's making her brave.
Yeah.
The
Good.
fact
Agreed.
that- yeah,
She's
determined
raging out.
now.
Yeah.
She's determined to save the day.
Fiery redhead,
and
for
nothing is
sure.
gonna stop her.
Well, before we get into predictions, let's just bring up one more time our love octagon.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun,
So
dun,
we
dun.
need everyone's
We want
help
suggestions.
as far as where to put everyone. I know we need to move Maureen back. I'm really sorry that I murdered her. I'll bring her back because she's part of
She'll
it
come
again.
back to life.
So if you guys want to get
her.
on the chat and let us know,
Let's move Maureen. Let's see. Can someone
hand me
Erin,
Maureen's face?
Will you grab
Where's
Maureen?
Maureen's
Right
face?
here.
Give me Maureen's face. I'm gonna put it by Simon.
Yeah, someone was furious on our YouTube comments that we like killed her off, so we're gonna put her back.
Where do we at? Because like she's like way, like over
She's,
here
like, way
on her
over
own
there.
zone right here, like with little Simon.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we still have Izzy who loves to flirt with Simon, and Simon's still kind of in love with Clary, but not totally sure. And here's Maureen.
Simon has his own love triangle.
I feel like this
Yes.
week we can't really move anyone around that much.
Except for
isn't
moving
sure.
Maureen back because Maureen has now officially professed her love for Simon, which I'm glad that she was just kind of like, a bad bee and came out with
Yeah.
it. I like it. And then I'm going to move Magnus like a little bit snugglier up here because he's kind of
Snugglier?
come
Hashtag
out.
Malik Snuggle Time.
Malik
Is he
snuggle
glued?
time. No, because he's
There we
kind
go.
of come out now with his flirtation. He calls him pretty boy and Jace thinks it's him.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's Alec. But yeah, if you guys have suggestions on where we can move people and anyone we can add to this lovely love octagon,
Let us
please
know. Tweet us.
Yes, tweet us. Let us know in the comments on YouTube.
Yes.
Let
Tweet
us
us
know.
at ABTV Shadowhunters.
Yes, and hashtag ABTV love octagon.
Yes.
Yes. That's
Boom.
two.
So,
Absolutely. So before, again, we get into predictions, a little quick news and goss for you guys.
yes.
Woo!
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
Okay, well, this is basically just news because we are officially announcing
Yes.
A special guest.
our special guest next Friday is Dominic Sherwood.
Dominic Sherwood.
Yes, who plays Jace. We won't make him take his shirt off because I don't think that's legal. But he will be here.
Sorry, I was just really upset for a minute.
Erin's like, what? I'm not coming. Yes, he will be in the studio next Friday, so please, guys, make sure you tune in.
And send in your questions. We'll ask him questions.
Yeah, maybe we'll feature you on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Guys,
Can we hashtag for that? Like ABTV questions for Dom? That's really long.
Whoa. How about we
Hughes,
do like ABTV Jace? I don't know.
Ask Jace.
Ask Jace.
Ask Jace.
ABTV Ask Jace.
yes. Okay,
Officially.
guys.
Or
the
ABTV
hashtag.
Ask Dom.
Ask Jace.
Ask Jace. Okay.
Keep
ABTV
it
Ask
simple.
Jace.
ABTV Ask Jace. You heard it first. Use that hashtag and tweet at us with it, and we will write it all down
Yeah.
and ask him as many questions as we can. So let's get into predictions then, guys.
Where's our fancy music?
There it is.
Hey!
And the lights.
Now,
It's a demon
your
rave.
AFTERBUZZ
Yes.
TV
Hardtail Demon Rave.
predictions.
I don't like the word hardtail. Sounds inappropriate.
I
Is
know.
it? Is it something dirty?
Probably, most likely. All right, who wants to
You
kick
do.
us off?
I like
Okay.
starting with you. Yours
All
are
right.
always really good.
So I think that the necklace is actually, besides being like the FaceTime unit, I think it's also gonna be the key to opening whatever the cup is in. I feel like that's gonna be the key. I feel like that's why Luke needs Clary to have like one-on-one time with him. I feel like that is gonna open up the portal to grab the cup.
Interesting.
What about you?
Okay, since I'm obsessed with Simon, I want to make my predictions about Simon like every week.
Okay, go for it.
Perfect. Love it.
So, yeah, there were throughout the episode, well, the first half of the episode, anyways, there was a lot of pointing to him becoming a vampire and whatever.
Yeah.
That's definitely gonna happen. I think. I'll be
Oh, yeah.
surprised if it doesn't. But
Who do you think's gonna be his love interest?
I don't think he's gonna have a love interest for a while. I could be wrong.
He has
but it
so
could
many
be.
options.
I mean, at the very end of the
He
episode,
has
we
so
do
many
see
options.
him go back
No,
to
he has a
the
lot
hotel.
of options to pick from. But I feel like he'll like lay low for a while.
I don't know. That's not his style.
I don't know.
He's got all
a
this
popular
testosterone
dude.
now. He's like
very
yelling
popular.
at Jace. I feel
I mean,
like.
Yeah.
I volunteer.
Oh god.
I volunteer as tribute.
Wrong show. Anyway.
That's not a show. That's a movie.
Yeah.
But
That's a great one.
yeah.
I'm with you.
I don't know.
What about you, Sam? Sorry, I was looking at the wrong person.
That
when
was
you said
really
that.
confusing because you were
I know,
looking at me
I'm
and
sorry.
talking to
I
Sam.
know.
It was
Let's
very
do
confusing.
Erin first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to see a little bit more of the history of the Circle, and I think that that's also going to help us see the backstory on Luke, and I think we're going to get his big reveal as far as the secret that he's hiding that I'm excited for. It's really cool. It's got a really cool storyline to it. I'm not sure how it'll play out in the show. Obviously, everything's different, but I think they'll still hit that major plot point. I also think that I need to check IMDb on this and see if this is a real thing or if I made it up, but I feel like we're going to see the Lightwood parents. Yeah, I think they're going to become cast members.
People in the chat said that we'll see the mom next week.
Oh, really? Good.
Yes.
Okay, I really like them as characters. So that's my prediction is we're delving into Circle Land.
Awesome. I agree with you on the Luke front. I think that we are going to be seeing a lot more of him and his secrets and basically just like even his past relationship with the family, you know, with Clary and Jocelyn. I think with Simon, he we said at the end of the episode, he goes back to the Dumont
Hotel
D'Amour. I'm sorry, Hotel D'Amour, and Camille is just going to have control over him.
Oh yeah, she's standing on top of the building, like just looking down at him.
Yeah, I think that he's going to go a little cray cray, but then Clary will find him and bring him back to ground.
Yeah,
and
totally,
she'll help
seems
him.
To be good at doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, so she'll kind of ground him and help him, but he will go off the deep end and maybe will kill some people.
That tends to be a theme in this show is killing some people.
A lot of people.
Really quick, what do you guys think about how Magnus was wanting this necklace back forever? It like cost so much money, and then all of a sudden he's like, you know what, Izzy, you can have it. What was that? Like out of all the craziness that they were dealing with, like he was wanting to get the necklace back, then he just gives it away to her.
He did say this would look silly on your brother. Like he wanted to give it to Alec. But I think that he's such a straight shooter. I just don't think he has a use for it right now. Okay. And he knows that it will benefit them more than it will him. But that's just me.
That was the one thing I was confused about.
I do think there is a deeper thing going on with that, but I also think that he did want to give it to Alec and couldn't. I mean, Alec's not going to wear that, so...
You never know.
But it also was part of the Lightwood family, and there's something with that, which we will get introduced with the parents, or at least the mother, hopefully next week. So that wraps up this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You're awesome. Get excited for next week. Where can we find all of you guys on the interweb?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
Find me on Instagram and Twitter at Becca B Talks TV.
You can find me on Instagram at Always Eat Your Cake and on Twitter at Love Erin Lane.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43, online at SamDavidsonEntertainment.com, and on Snapchat at SamDavidson25. We will see you next week.
Yes, with Dominic.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.